So I am going ahead to start with the 14 task because the I think the 12 and 13 is just the same logic with the rest of the views. So for this 14th one, we're told to update this base model that is in the model slash base model and user model slash users. The reason for this is because when a user makes a call to this route in our users.view slash users.py, when they make a call to this route, so that is to get the list of all users. So we look through all the objects in user and then use to dig method to convert it to a dictionary and then send it back. So like here, these are the users endpoint. If I make a call to users, we see that we are getting the list of users and we see that password is included, which means anyone that makes a call to this endpoint and get the list of users can be able to see the password and email and be able to use it to log in. So that's the point of this, that we are supposed to go to the model slash base model and update, modify the to dig method in order to make sure that before we use before when the we are trying to use this to dig method to convert the objects to a dictionary, that we are going to ensure that we are not going to send the password along. So before we can be able to return this, we have to modify this to remove the password. So for us to achieve that, what we can be able to do, because we've been given a hint that we can use all this a default parameter to achieve this. So since that we are only going to be allowing the password to be visible only when we are going to be saving to the disk, so I would say save to disk. We have a default value of none, so we are going to say before we will be able to return um, the dictionary version of the object, what we are going to say is we are going to first check if save to disk is provided. If it's none, what we are going to do, oh forgive me, I'm using JavaScript. We are going to say if save to disk is none, still using JavaScript. If it's none, what we are going to say is we are going to first check that password is in new dict before we are going to return it, because we know it's not just users that is going to be calling this to dict method. So we are going to check that password is in new dict, which means this is strictly for the users. And then if password is in new dict, we are going to use the del key to delete the password key from the dictionary before returning it. So now if we go back to API slash views slash users.py, and now let me continue with this. If we now make a request to users again, we see that we've gotten the last name, but we no longer have the password. Now, no nobody can be able to use the password to log in again. And then the next thing we are going to do is to go to model slash users, and we are going to modify this in such a way that before a user's password is saved in the file storage or the DB storage that is in the database, we are going to first hash the password because you don't want to be saving it as a plain text. And we've been told to use the MD5, and that's from the hash lib. So if we import, say, okay, we import the hash lib or hash lib, I don't know. So what we're going to do is we are going to come to the constructor of the user class, and we are going to modify it in such a way that when this user class is called to create an instance of the user, we are going to modify this constructor in such a way that it's going to check for password. If it sees the password, it first removes the password from the keywords arguments, and then we hash it, and then we save it back to the keyword argument as hashed password, then before it can be saved to the database. So we are going to say if keywords argument, that is if there's data available in the keywords argument, we are going to pop the password out of the keyword argument. In case password is not there, it's going to return none. And then we're going to save this to a variable, let's say pwd. And then we are going to check if we have password, that is if password is available in the keywords argument. If it's there, we are going to use the call hashlib.md5 and save it as hasha, and then we are going to say hasha dot update, and then we pass in the pwd and then encode it to utf-8, and then we are going to say secure pwd is equal to, we call the hasha dot digest, and then this way what we've done here is we passed this password into this md5, that's the variable we've called hash, and we've called the update method of this md5, and we passed in the password after encoding it to utf-8, and now we've completely hashed it and saved it as secure pwd. And then the next thing we are going to do is we are going to take this secure pwd and set it as password in the keyword argument before it can be saved to the database. So we say keyword argument, then we pass in password, same password that we removed, add it again, and then we set it as secure pwd. So by doing this, the passwords, whether it's for file storage or DB storage, they are going to be hashed with this MD5, which I don't think we should be using, but it is what it is. So what we are going to do is we are going to test this to be sure that you can hash password. So what I'm going to do is to first I'm going to get users. We should get users without getting the password, which is the first one that we did. And then I'm going to try to retrieve users from the database. How is it done again? Okay, I'm going to say echo use. And we are going to pipe this to SQL. Then I'll put in the password. So if we look here, we are seeing that this is the email and this is the password. The password is in plain text. So, but now that we've modified this to hash the password, we are going to try to create a new user from the users views.users.py, that is calling the post method, and to see if we can be able to hash a user. So I think I'm going to be using this again. So this is going to be a post method, and the body is going to be email. Say email at email.com, and then the password will be my password. And what else? Okay, so we see that we've created a new user. The email is email, but the password is not here. So I'm going to open my terminal again and try to select all the users, and then see if, since this one is in plain text, if the one that we created is going to be in plain text or not. So I go enter. And then if we look here, we see that the first one, email password, is the email and this is the password. And then this second one that we created, we see that the email is here and then the password is hashed. So it means that we successfully hashed the password of a user before it is being saved to the database. Then if you're wondering what I'm using, this is on Thunder client. You can install Postman. I think they now have it's now on VS Code, but what I'm using for now is Thunder client. That is this.